Good morning. This is Tish from Create to Breathe. I have bought all sorts of fun watercolor supplies lately. I got so super excited about watercolor when I was doing the 28 days of play over February. And so I just kind of wanted you to play along with me today. As always, I have no idea what I'm going to create today, so we'll see what happens. So I want to share a little story with you from a watercolor novice. I ordered this really fancy Arches Aquarelle paper from the internets, and I was really excited to get it, and I thought I had ordered some white paper. And as you can see, the edges come and they are black like this. And what I didn't realize was, let me see if I can find one. So when you open it up, it comes just like this. And I was like, well, shit, I have ordered the wrong color of watercolor paper and I need to send this back. So I started doing my return. I ordered another one in the meantime because I wanted to get started. And do you know that the next one came and it also was black? And I was like, what the heck? So I wrote a review on the website that basically said, hey, can you get your specs together on your products, because they are not coming as they are described. And so I ordered another one from somewhere else, and it too came as black paper. So anyway, I wanted to save you from my naive, and all the watercolor people are like, eye roll, you know, they already know how this ends. So Arches comes as a block, and it has sort of this like wax coating that goes around the edges. And the way it works is you actually have to remove this first kind of blotter sheet. Now, why they make this black, I don't know. I think it's just to like, to mess with people like me who are just very simple-minded, smooth-brained people such as myself. So anyway, you take this off, or you can just fold it back. And then these are held together, which is really nice because you don't have to tape down your watercolor to prevent it from ruffling and folding and all the things. So anyway, if yours comes like this, which it probably will, this is what you need to do. Don't return it. It's not an error. I apologize to the internet review people. Please don't blacklist me. But I am also going to show you, just while we're here, so you would take like a palette knife or something when you are ready to remove a sheet, and you stick it through there, and then it basically comes right off. Okay, so you guys can see how that works. Okay, so that's my confession for the day. So all that said, let's play. Let us play. But first, coffee. I'm sorry I've been so busy lately. I haven't really been posting a lot because I have a senior and I'm like already in the like mourning phase. Then he's actually moving on and moving out of the house, and I'm really so proud of him. And I know this is what parenting is all about, right? It's like preparing our little birdies to fly, but at the same time I'm like soaking in absolutely everything that he is doing right now. And he's a busy guy, so he's been doing robotics and he's been doing music, the school musical, and so I wanted to be able to attend all the things. But anyway, I also believe that creativity and showing up for yourself creatively is a wonderful way to process a lot of things. So today, I don't know, I might be crying over my flowers that I'm going to be doing, but I primarily like to paint florals, so I'm going to play with florals today, but I really am also just kind of playing with my tools and learning how to use them. So I wanted you to play with that along with me. I have some Holbein. I bought it like a kind of a starter set of gouache. And I also bought some watercolors that are super fun to play with. I will give you the links for these in the description. And then I have a little palette over here that has some colors out that I've been using. I might pull out some of my liquid watercolors that I also like to use. I might play with some of these little granulated pigment bits and see what that looks like. But anyway, let's start painting. So I picked up some nicer watercolor brushes than the ones I was using. The ones I was using I probably spent like 10 bucks on, which is not a bad place to start. But I thought maybe these would help up my game if I got some nicer brushes. So I probably should try to grab one of the nicer brushes. I think I did. I think I did. Okay, so let's put some water on our brush. And I'm just gonna, I like working sort of like soft, light to darker. I'm definitely not a traditional watercolorist because it's all about these very subtle layers and glazes, and I just honestly like to play. And I like the uncertainty, the surprise, if you will, of what happens when you just start to play. And I like it when things happen that bring me joy on the watercolor paper, and it's just all very fun to me. So let's see what we can start with. I'm going to start with a little bit of yellow. Like I said, I really want it to be very subtle. So I'm just gonna, and for me, flowers are very much like just a puddle of color, you know, like I'm not trying to draw specific petals and make specific shapes for a certain type of flower. I really am just putting down some color and seeing what happens. So that's kind of the way that I work. Let's see here. I think I'm gonna go into, maybe I'll add a little bit of this pink to the yellow. This is a wonderful little palette over here. It's kind of like a, I think they call it like a butcher's palette, or a butcher's tray, even butcher's tray. So you might see something similar like in a meat or butcher shop. But it works really well because it has this enamel finish, like a porcelain finish. So literally you just rinse some water over it and you're good to go, which is nice. Sometimes it's fun just to flick some color down. I'm kind of like already wanting to play with, let's see, let's put some pinks out here. I'm gonna use this, well, maybe I'll use this one that's down here. This is called Cherry Blossom Pink. So we'll put some of this down. And I like to kind of get up close to the other one and then just barely let them kind of kiss and then see what happens. Let them kiss. There we go. Cute, cute, cute. Okay, let's do another one. I like that color, so let's play with that some more. And these are still pretty wet, so I can continue to add color to these, but I'm pretty undecided right now, honestly. I like changing the way that I lay the flowers down so it looks like they're sort of going in different directions. But again, you can kind of see how I'm doing this. I'm just picking up my brush and moving it around, and like whatever shape it makes when I put it down, that'll be the shape of the flower. So like, don't make it overly fussy, don't overcomplicate it. It really is super, super easy, and that's one of the reasons I love it so much. Okay, let's see what other color would look really nice here. So sometimes I'd like to take some of the color I had on my brush. I do the same thing with acrylics, where like I'm combining colors that are already down on my palette so that they like to hang out with each other. So then let's go into, I'm gonna also choose this brighter, what is this, vermilion. And let's see what happens here. So I think I want to just, oh, that's pretty. I like it. I like it. And so I'm going to let it kiss its friend up here, maybe its friend over here. Come down a little bit. We'll do this guy. We are all friends here. Love that. Okay, liking that, liking it. So you can see too, like one of the things I'm starting to notice is like all of my flowers are relatively the same size. So I just want to now kind of add a little bit of that color in here, but I also want to make some smaller marks. So my color was a little darker than I wanted there, so maybe I'll just do a little bit of that over here. So it's kind of nice to just drop some of those colors in so that you can work your way around. Sorry if you're getting a little glare on my sheet there. Maybe if I move the lighting just a tidge, that might help. Yeah, I think that helped a little. Let's see, what else? What else can we do? More of these little guys over here. Some more of these guys over here. Why they have friends. Everybody wants friends. Okay, so now I'm going to rinse my brush out, and I'm going to go back to this yellow. I'm going to lay a little bit of that. I feel like that might be a little. Okay, there. Put a little bit of that down in here. So again, I'm crossing over and adding bits of those colors around. Maybe I'll add a little yellow in this one too. And now I want to, while this is all still quite wet, I am just making sure, I'm looking around to see, make sure it is actually wet, so that I'm going to pick up some of this dry pigment. This one's called Rusty Car. And actually, I think this is not the one I want to use. I want to use one called Golden Sands. Let me see. Aha, I have found Golden Sands. Okay, so the way that this works is it's a really, really intense pigment situation in there. And so, and it's just dry in this bottle. And so you want to just grab a small brush. This should work. And then you just want to dip it down in there. And I shake most of it off by tapping it inside the jar. And then I'm going to bring it down into, and just kind of tap, I guess I tapped too much of it off. Better too little than too much. Can't take it back. I'm just going to tap some more of this through there. And I like this Golden Sands one because it really is made up, I think, of like 3 colors, it seems to me. That there's kind of like an orange, a bit of red. There's quite a bit of variation there. So I'm going to put a little bit in the center there. Okay, that looks good. I'm not going to overdo it. Okay, I'm going to put that to the side. And before you move forward, you probably want to give it a little bit of a, just to get any extra bits that might be on your paper that you don't want to pick up later with a wet brush. So I still want to stay with this big brush right now, I think. And or do I want to stay with the big brush? Maybe I don't. So I'm going to pick up this, this is such a cool, like, big fat calligraphy brush. And I'm kind of flipped out right now because my water is very much the same color as my coffee. And so I was wondering, I started to stutter step. I was like, am I dipping this in my coffee? Because I do not want to do that. Let's go into maybe a color for a vase down here. But I want to think about kind of like what would be on the opposite side of the color wheel, because I like to use a lot of contrast when I paint. So I'm gonna say, because this is all the warms, I want to do a nice cool color that is going to go maybe a bit more towards, seeing if there's one of the cakes that would work well. I could go towards the purples, I could go towards the blues. I could continue on with like sort of a more warm colors and just do something like that. But I think what I'm feeling is maybe I'm gonna go into this green gold. And the way that I like to make vases is to essentially not make vase, but rather just see what my brush wants to do. And kind of create and not really overthink it too terribly much. Let's see, do we want this shape to be? You always want to hold your brush very loosely when you're doing watercolor. I'm thinking I want to just like take it over here, like some wonky little shape. Perfect. Okay. It's almost like a little sack of flowers. But we can play with that one too. So let's get out. I have some sage pigment. Let's try that. And you can use the same dry brush that you were using before. Just make sure you dust off any extra particles that you might have still had on it. And put this down. You can kind of see it takes just a second, but then once the pigment starts really picking up, I don't know if you can see that here. I'm going to hold this a little bit closer because this is the area that we just did, and see how you have some specks that are like orange and some that are sort of like this sienna and then some that are a little bit more red. So in the green you get that variety as well, where you get some blue specks and some brown and some yellow, but it's a nice variation of color. And it's always good to keep a little toweling around, because I find like it's just nice to pick up a little bit of color and give yourself a little highlight. And let's do the same thing up here on some of our flowers. That looks great. Okay, I'm gonna go to, let's see, I think I'm gonna do this one. This is kind of a fun new brush for me. We don't use these fancy brushes in acrylic, so these little fancy brushes are really new for me. I'm going to go into some of this kind of sage green here, I think. Maybe we'll give this guy a little bit of a stem coming down. Let's see, let's play with a little more of that color. And maybe this guy could have a stem coming down that we don't see so much. And maybe this guy has a little bit of this color. Let's add a little bit of, what is that one? Cobalt green. And stems can be all sorts of colors, so you don't really have to stick with any certain one. I'm just adding that color over here to again just carry the color over. Let me get some of this. What is this? Cobalt turquoise. Let's try that one. And stems are very wiggly, so make sure that you wiggle, 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 wiggle. Not you personally, but I mean, you can if you want to. If you feel called to wiggle, I will not stop you. I've been known to do a little wiggling when I paint too. Okay, so I'm gonna go more into this blue. I like this blue a lot. And let's go from these guys. I'm gonna give them a little base situation. Maybe we'll have these guys come together over here. We don't want our flowers to just fly in the sky. That looks great. Bring them down a little bit. Bring this guy down this way. And I love the way they're kind of like bleeding into this area. So you kind of see them, but then you also kind of don't, which is awesome. Let's see, what else? I'm gonna put that one down. I think I might go back. Maybe I'll try this smaller one. This is a number 4. So I think I want to play with now bringing in a little bit more of this. What is this called? Saffron yellow. That looks really pretty. I like that. There you go. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit more of this. This is the saffron yellow. Put in some little flowers over here. It's good to make some overlap, you know, like bring it up over. Maybe it looks like it's coming in front of those flowers. And I think that's so fun about watercolor because you can really like start to layer in all sorts of different colors. Colors. Let's see, what do we want to put? Ooh, let's do maybe a little purpley gray situation. This is a mauve taupe, I think, that I picked up. And let's see if we can. So I'm just bringing some of these little guys here together. And I love the bleeding that's happening. So fun. Grab a little bit more of that purple. Nice. Love that. So I think with this purple, I'm now going to work into a little bit of this grayish sky blue, but I want to go, I think it's time to go back to a bigger brush. Let's try this one. This is also a fancy brush. This is called a dagger, number 8. See it? So cool. Okay. This is like a gray blue color, and I'm just going to play with what this does when we drag it. I think I needed more water on my brush. Ooh, fancy. Okay, let's do that again. Let's change the color slightly. I just keep playing with different colors just to see what I like. This one, maybe this guy comes down this way. It's a nice brush for making leaves really easily. You just kind of push down and pull up and it does it all on its own, which is wonderful. So maybe some more leafy situations out here on the side. Oops, got a little loose bristle. Let's do, trying to figure out which way I want to pull my brush. What's fun is like you can just make sort of random shapes with whatever natural shape your brush makes and then play with that. Ooh, let's go into this leaf green. I forgot I had it over here. This is actually a gouache, so it's going to lay down a little bit differently. So let's try, well, first of all, let's add a little bit of that over here while that's still wet. Put a little on this one. Yes. And let's put another one of these little spriggies. Let's take that one here. He felt like he needed to be more connected with his friends, so. Lovely. Let's do another one. Kind of fun to see what happens when I pull on the leaves. Makes a little bit different shape. I like it, I like it. I like these very thin leaves this is making for me. That's fun. I like that. So let's see. Let's grab our blotter. I like that you can just literally just keep playing. It is so fun. Nice. Okay, now I'm going to go into a smaller brush. I will go to the number 4. And I think I want to start pulling in a little bit of, let's see, phthalo green, cobalt blue. What should I do? What do we have over here? Ooh, let's do this cobalt blue that's over here. I like it. So I'm just gonna, I love putting in just a touch of like a deep blue in the centers of my flowers, in the pseudo centers, not always in the center. I just feel like it adds a little level of like depth that's hard to get otherwise. So, ooh, very nice next to the pink there. And then while I'm over here, I'm going to add some of that color to the ends of my leaves. And I think I'm going to add some of that. I'll add like a stem coming down here. little bit of a line coming down through these. Beautiful. And let's go into this color up here. Let's pull a little bit of that through so we can work that color around our canvas a little bit. It's looking good. I think over here, I just want to maybe do looks great. And then let's see what happens. I think up here, I just want to add, maybe I'm going to go back to the saffron yellow and just put kind of a sweep of that through here just to brighten it up just a little bit as like another layer. I'll do that through here as well. And let's see, let's do the same thing down on the tip of this flower. And then these guys, they need a little something too. So let's go back into that yellowy orange color we made with the pink and the yellow mixed together. And let's just go down on the ends of these guys, just so they have a little more interest to them. Flick a little bit of that color on there as well. Then I'm going to go back to my number 12 brush. And I think I want to define just this flower just a little bit more. So I'm going to go back into that vermilion, maybe a little bit of, this says Mars yellow. It looks a little bit like a burnt sienna to me. And let's just drop in a little bit of that color there. Yeah, that's good. Just slightly different. And then I'm going to pull this little green flower up. Same thing with these guys. This leaf kind of went away, but it's okay. We'll bring it back. We will bring you back. Hope you guys don't hear my tummy rumbling, but wow, is it? It is making some moves over here. This one's a gouache, so it's a little more opaque over here. You can see that it definitely looks more opaque. So I'm going to add some of that color down here into our vase. Make some pretend stems that are going into our creation. Maybe I'll add a little bit of that pink through here. That would be nice. Maybe just a touch on this guy. Let's see, what else do we need? What do you need? Talk to me, little guy. Tell me what you need. And I think I'm just gonna maybe go into, I feel like we're getting pretty close here. I'm gonna go into some of the sage, what is this called? I keep calling it sage, but it's called pea green. So I'm gonna start here. A little bit of a, and just see how I just barely kissed the flower. Perfect. That is perfect. And let's see. Kind of like it. Just seeing if I want to maybe add. There's no perfect answer, really. Blot those guys just a little bit and add a stem over there. But I think I need to go back into a little bit of the cobalt and bring that down. So I'm gonna just kind of, when I touch the ends there, it's gonna come together. I'm gonna bring this across this way. Perfect. All right. I think that looks really good. Okay, so I think I want to do one more thing. Do I want to do one more thing? I think I do. So when you create intuitively, it's a lot of just learning to listen to yourself, learning to listen to your own creative spirit as you're creating. And so it is a lot of just like figuring it out as you go, and that's okay. Like that. I think this opacity over here is just bugging me a little bit on the ends of that. Ooh, it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun. Let's see what happens when we do that. Ooh, I like that. That is nice. It's so fun. You guys are gonna love it. You're gonna love this. Okay, so now I am deciding what the heck I want to do. I think I want to color. Do I want to play with adding a little purple situation? I think I might. So I'm going to add it over here in my palette in the purple zone. But I think I want to get not that brush. I want to use a brush that's a little more square. It's a little smaller than I was hoping to find, but this will do. So I'm going to go into that purpley color. And I want to keep it kind of light. I'm a little nervous because it's kind of a bold move, but that's okay because it's just paint and we can do it. We can do it. So I think I want to do a little bit of a yes. 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 See, it just needed that. It needed it. So you have to listen. And just adding a little bit water right through there so that I can maybe even come back and blot that a little bit on the ends. Yes, I love it. I love that so much. Okay. I think what it needs now is a little bit of sparkle. So let's put some purple on and boop, 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 boop. Nice. And while we're here, let's add a little bit of pink to our purple, but that'll give us an opportunity to maybe put a few little kisses of color out here on these little stems. Who knows? What kind of flowers are these? I don't know. No one knows. That's okay. I feel like I want to add a little bit of that purple into the stem of that leaf. And then maybe blot those a tidge. That looks wonderful. Now I'm going to let this dry, and then I'm going to come back with a little bit of ink work. Okay? Sounds good. So this always happens to me. So I spent a minute looking at this, and I felt like all my big flowers are right here, but I really was thinking maybe I needed something larger over here. So I am going to listen to that and pick up my good old number 12 again here, and I think I want to try and play with maybe some more of the yellow, but I want to start off kind of light and then just see what happens. So I think I'm just gonna play with a little bit of this. Yeah, I think it just needed something over here to bring those bits together. That makes me feel better. So let's see, I want to bring in a little bit of this pink because we've been playing with that. And then maybe I'll just carry that down with some of that vermilion through my stem. I'm going to bring that through here. You know, there's no right or wrong. It's just the thing that I felt like I needed to listen to, and so that's why I made that change. Now, now I'm feeling like there needs to be something here as well, so let's do that. Put some of this green through here. And these stems right here kind of got a little bit lost, so I'm just gonna go over some of these. Yeah, that looks good. I like it. I like it. Pick up a little bit of this purple very lightly. And I know this is really wet because we just did it, but I am just gonna put that there. It's got a little too much of a kiss from that one. So let's put our little purple back in. We'll blot this side. That'll help. There you go. Kind of looks now like maybe it's a flower that's starting to do its thing, but it hasn't quite fully gotten there yet. We always want to use that in a couple different places. Yay. Okay, let's do a little bit of I really didn't mean to make this tutorial too terribly long, but alas. And then while we're here, let's get some of that cobalt blue. Do a little splatter on there too. That's fun. Little splatter brings everything together. Okay, so I'm going to do one last thing, and that is got this little calligraphy pen, and usually I like to do inks, but I'm going to play with putting a little bit of watercolor on it. Maybe in this purple color. Maybe I'll add a little bit of the blue too, so it's a little darker. I'm going to try it right here. Yep, that looks pretty good. And I think I just want to add just a few little fine details to this. So I'm just going to pull that down through this leaf. Make some little vines in my leaf. Veins? Vines, vines, veins, veins. Make some veins in my leaf. Didn't sound right when I said it the first time. And I love the idea of adding lines because you don't have to be perfect with them at all. And it's not an outline, right? Like we don't want to be adding an outline. Let me refill this a little bit. Need more juice. Instead, we're just creating some more elements to respond to. So just another layer, another bit of story to add. And let's see, I think I want to do it maybe on this leaf down here because he got sort of lost. He lost his way. So we're gonna just help him find his way back. Let's put a little bit more of that color. And I think I want to do the thing with the veins. Clearly my brain is not quite braining yet this morning. And seeing what else needs to happen. Maybe a little bit of the pink. And let's see, just really want to do like the simplest. Just create a little bit of extra love up here around these flowers. Okay, now it is time for us to sign. I'm just gonna dry off my calligraphy pen here, and I want to use something a little bit darker than the pink, but maybe I'll pull in that vermilion and sign with that. I've never signed my name with a calligraphy pen. This is going to be new for me. Hey, look at me, so fancy. Okay. Well, I hope you have really enjoyed this little play with watercolor today. Like I said, I'm learning, so I'm hoping that you can learn along with me, but I love the ideas of just playing with watercolors really loosely. I love painting very expressively and intuitively, and watercolors kind of scratching that itch for me right now. If you paint along with me, I would love to see your little creation in our community forum. Just be sure to check the community tab. And as always, like and subscribe, and there will be more content just like this coming your way. Take care. Now she's done. Oh, okay, yeah, for real, she's done. Okay, see you you next time.